Today's focus will be on Unai Emery's team, Aston Villa. What's special about Unai Emery's Aston Villa? They're a team that plays a system that's not dependent on any way of playing. They can choose to play from the back through short passes. If need be, they can go long, safely knowing that they have the numbers to win the second balls. Defensively speaking, depending on the opposition, they can choose to press high with a high defensive line or set in a defensively compact low block and create chances through counter attacks. When one route has been blocked, they can shift to the next. Shifting to the next in the sense that they can play either at the left from the centrally or from the right. But one of the areas Unai Emery Aston Villa usually focuses on is the central positions, which they tend to dominate the half spaces. And Unai Emery team is not don't employ the man-to-man attacking style. Instead, they prefer to use the zonal marking. And you can say they are a team of Mazalas in the sense that they tend to set up in the 4-4-2 formation or a 4-2-3 formation, 3-1 formation. But usually when they set up in the 4-4-2 formation, they actually look like a 4-2-2-2. Okay, so today, one of the things you have to understand when it comes to Emery's team is that most times the team tends to look like this, but on paper they look like a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, depending on what kind of formation it tends to use. But at the end of the day, they end up looking like this in this particular shape. This shape allows them to control the match due to not being too far from themselves, which will help the team retain the ball through simple passes. But if they lose it, they have enough players to dominate the central positions. Okay, and one of the things you have to understand is in every team, when it comes to this pattern of play, today I'll be actually taking you on both his 4-4-2 formation and his 4-2-3-1 formation. But firstly, we'll be looking at the 4-4-2 formation, and when it comes to this, it looks something like this during the course of the match, and you tend to see your left back pushing further forward or overlapping, and for the right back, it turns to an inverted fullback who tends to play, making the shape look like a 3 at the back. But most times, depending on how the game goes, it tends to push further forward depending on how or when it sees fit. So in order to implement this style of play, today I'll be showing you how to implement it. Okay, let me create back again. Yeah. So please like, subscribe, comments. Just basically subscribe and comment and like, because by doing that to push this video further and help me get more viewers as well. Okay, so before I dive into player roles, I'll first of all try to go with the mentality. I tend to usually use the positive mentality, and since Unai Emery team is actually a team that doesn't really focus on a particular style of play but just has different philosophies, you can tend to use the balance mentality depending on the team you are facing, and you can decide to use the positive if you feel that you are more superior or you want your team to move more attacking. You can use more attacking as well. So depending on what you want, but for this, I'll be leaving it at the positive mentality, and then we'll go to the in possession. In possession, we tend to use the attacking width narrow, and one of the things I will let you understand is that for both the 4-4-2 and the 4-4 and the 4-2-3-1, we'll be using the same philosophy, both in possession, in transition, and out of shape. Okay, so for the attacking widths, we'll be using fairly narrow, approach play, pass into space. And we make use of play out of the back because his team tends to play from the back. That's when they decide to use the short pass, or you can decide to go for long balls. Ball focus play, we use through the middle, and we tend to use the underlap and right and underlap left. And for passing directness, this is depending on you because I actually use it and I saw that it worked both for the shots standard and the short pass. Okay, for this, if you use the balance mentality, your passing directness automatically turns to standard or shorter. So you can decide depending on what you want to do or go long as well. But since we're using the positive mentality for the case of this study, you can see it goes to slightly shorter or shorter. So that's just that. But I actually tested it with both the slightly shorter and the shorter, but I believe it's going to work with the longer. But you can see, but why I refuse to go longer is so that we don't waste the ball. And for tempo, we made use of the slightly higher tempo. And final third, we left it like that. And creative freedom, we made use of the more discipline. Yeah, the more discipline. So that's that for that. In transition, we made use of the counter press. Okay, in possession, the reason why I didn't make work with the ball, walk ball into box is that his team actually builds from the back, but they don't usually focus on a particular. They tend to do play according to how the team they face. So you can decide for yourself, but I didn't use it in the test, so I don't know if it's going to work or it's going to work. So, but for this, it actually worked. The way I set it, it actually worked. So in transition, we made use of the counter press, counter, and distribute to center backs. And for distribution type, we made use of the short kicks. While goalkeeper in possession, he said it's left for the goalkeeper to decide for himself, but you can decide for him as well. Out of possession, we said to go with the high press and higher defensive line. And so during the course of the match, you can decide for yourself if you want to go for the low block, standard, or the higher press, depending on what style of player you tend to use. But for the test, I actually made use of the higher defensive line, where you can decide for yourself. For trigger press, we made use of the more often. And for defensive line, we made use of step up more, so the defenders can, as while building from the back, they can compact, make the midfield as well compact. Pressing trap, we made use of the trap outside. Yes. Okay. But you can decide to cross engagement. We didn't select any. You can decide for yourself depending on what you want. And okay, that's that. Okay, so for player roles, we should be going to for player roles. For my goalkeeper, I said to go with the sweeper keeper, which is Martinez, on support duty. With player instruction, take more risks. Because Martinez is actually cocky, and some people don't like him, but I love him. So that's just it. For ball playing, for your central defenders, you can decide to go with ball playing defenders on defend duty for both sides on defend duty. No, just player instruction. Take more risks, hold position. For your left back, which is Digny or Digny, I don't know how to pronounce it. So pardon me. We made use of a wing back on attack duty because we'll need him to be bumping up and overlapping up and down, and he'll also help with the attack. Okay, sorry about that. He'll help with the attack. So for player instruction, we made use of run wide with the ball, cross from byline, get further forward. And for your fullback, we actually made use of, as in on the right hand side, we made use of a fullback on defend duty. Why we didn't go for the imparted fullback is that by leaving him on a inverted fullback, he only tends to focus on the central position in the center back. So we actually wanted him once in a while to help, depending on the opportunity, to help in the right hand flank. So I decided to go with the fullback on support duty. On defend duty with seats narrower. So most of the time you will see him try to create a back three when Digny is going up to overlap. But at times when the attack is on the right hand side, you will see him try to support a little bit. So I think you actually need someone with good decision making. Not to lose the ball or leave you stranded at the back. So we're done with that. So for the central position, center midfield, we went for the ball winning midfielder on support duty, which is with player instruction tackle adder. That's for the left hand central midfielder. Then for your right hand central midfielder, we went for the deep line playmaker, which is the Telemans role. On support duty with shoot less often, take more risks, hold position. And for your right and your left wing and wingers, we decided to go for the inverted wingers. Because actually your team, when you see Aston Villa doing games, you see your wingers tend to tug in. So based on we couldn't create, I was not able to, if I actually want to make it look like how it looks on paper, but if I was to create it like the way the team is meant to be doing match, I would have put tugging in here and tugging in here, making it look like the Mazala kind of pattern, but no, so we're leaving him here and yeah. So okay, pardon me. So that's that. We'll make use of the inverted winger on support duty for both the right and the left. The player instruction, sit narrower, dribble more, and cut inside with the ball. Cut inside with the ball, it's most time when they have gotten the ball, they can tug in. But sit narrower will make them actually try to make the central position compact. And by making it compact, they tend to outnumber the opposition in central positions. So that's that. Okay. So that's both for the right and the left. Now for your attacking, for your forward, which is the Oli Watkins and Rogers. For Oli Watkins, we made use of advanced forward on attack duty with player instruction, move in channels. Now, one of the reasons why we didn't use mark tighter and was because his team tends to be a zonal marking kind of team. So I wanted to implement that. So that's why we'll be using the advanced forward on attack duty without the mark tighter and the rest for all the other players. So advanced forward on attack duty with player instruction, move into channels. And for Morgan Rogers, we made use of first 9 on support duty. I really can't say, but since most times Unai Emery tends to play Walkers as the only recognized striker. Watkins as the only recognized striker, and then maybe use a winger in this other position, or maybe when John Duran was around, or Marcus Rashford, something like that. But since we're using wingers, so I tend to use the first 9 on support duty, and on support duty, or Bali on support duty. So that will be a first 9 on support duty with roam from position, stay wider just to create width at times, and dribble more, take more risks. Okay, that's that for the 4-4-2. So for your 4-2-3-1, you still maintain. I'll be showing you. Sorry. Yeah. For your 4-2-3-1, you still maintain the mentality depending on what you want in possession, in transition, and out of possession. So there's no much change. Super keeper on support duty, still the same instructions. Ball playing defenders on support on defend duty, still the same instructions. Fullback on defend duty, still the same player instruction. But the only change will be at your left back, which will be on as a complete wing back on support duty, with player instruction, dribble more, tackle harder, and run wider with ball, get further forward, stay wider, run from position. Okay, for your central midfielders, we'll make use of at the right hand side, we'll make use of a ball winning midfielder on support duty in order to protect these areas and the back line. So it will be player instruction, tackle harder. And for your left hand side, central midfielder will make use of a volante on support duty with player instruction, get further forward. Actually, if you use the attack duty, it automatically gets the get further forward instruction. So okay, that's that. So for your attacking midfielder, will make use of the advanced playmaker. You can start to use the support striker, but I went for the advanced playmaker. A player instruction, advanced playmaker on attack duty, player instruction, run from position, move into channels, shoot less often, dribble more, take more risks. And for your wingers at the right hand side, I decided to go for the inverted winger on attack with stay wider, instruction, dribble more, cut inside with the ball, get further forward. Now the reason why I use an inverted winger with stay wider instruction is so that based on it will be the one to in order to create that extra width, because this right hand flank will not have that extra body due to your fullback actually being helping us or acting as an inverted fullback. But most of the time, due to him being on fullback on defend duty, most of the time, depending on the opportunity, you will see him assist on the width area at the width area. So or create a double width. So for your left winger, we make use of the inside forward on attack duty. We dribble more, cut inside with ball, take more risks, your typical cross, get further forward. Okay. So for this on attack duty, you can see that. So for your and the reason why we went with this is because it will have a supporting winger in the form of Digny or as a complete wing back, so you can create that extra body at the flank area. So for your advanced forward, we make use of advanced forward on attack. We dribble more and move into channels. So you can see that's that for this. And okay, we didn't do much. I actually did most of the test run on that safe, so I decided to use it on this particular safe. So I didn't have much of test run was in my Atletico safe and not in this particular safe. So, but for the 4 matches we used it on, I'll be showing you the stats. And for the friendly games, I didn't actually play the preseason. I actually went on holiday and in order to start the game fully on the main season. So for Man United, okay, for our first match where we had the match against Man United, we won by 4-0, and we are the home team. You can see, and in this we made use of the 4-4-2. You can see we made 13 shots to United 11, 8 on target to United 2, XG 2.54 to United 1.03. Actually, United is just trash, but they're my team. But so okay, so you can see. Okay, you can see United. Okay, so that's just that. For in possession, actually, like I said, Unai Emery team is not a team that focuses basically on possession. They can actually play it depending on the opposition, but in this game, we went with the standard passing style, so that's why. Okay, so against Brighton, they actually lost away 1-2 or 2-1. So you can see, but you can see it was not about the formation. It was more of my team being wasteful in attack. You can see even if we lost, you can see my attackers actually had good rates. Shots, we had 26 shots to Brighton 5. For God's sake, how did we even lose this game? On target, shot on target, we had 7 to Brighton 2. So that means Brighton actually scored on their only 2 chances. XG, we had 2.48 to Brighton 0.82. So you can see, but Brighton actually dominated us on possession, but we actually had more pass completion. So you can see, okay, so that's that. Okay. So against Bournemouth, I think this was the only. Okay, for the Bournemouth game, I actually had to test the 4-4-2. 4-2-3-1 formation, and I went with the shorter passing option because we were playing I felt it was an inferior team. So you can see, but actually, Bournemouth 10 to us 11. Shots on target, we had 3-3. XG, we had 2.53 to Bournemouth 1.73. Possession, you can see we dominated the possession aspect. 67 to Bournemouth 33. We won by 4 goals to 3. 4 goals to 2. Okay. So that's that. So we actually test, I think, yeah, against Blackburn Rovers, we actually tested the 4-2-3-1. Okay, you can see 20 shots to Blackburn 10 shots on target to Blackburn 7. So basically, you can see possession 62 to Blackburn 38. So basically, the first 2 games I actually made use of the standard, which was more of a mixed passing style of game, and the next 2 I actually played with a shorter passing style of. So you can see, so that's just it. So thanks. See you in the next video. That's it for your as Unai Emery 4-4-2 and 4-2-3-1 style of play. Thanks very much. See you in the next video. Much love. Peace. Please like, subscribe, comment, because by doing that, you'll be pushing this video further. And I really appreciate those of you that subscribed to me recently. I recently reached 840 subscribers. Much love. Thanks. See you in the next video.